Hey guys, Icarus and Kisa here, and since I recently started playing Amnesia, The Dark Descent, we were thinking about horror, and horror movies and games, and what they've been doing right and wrong, and just whatever. Modern horror is kind of going to the pound at the moment, and, well, there have been various people who've complained about why, so we're gonna join the bandwagon. Since this is her first vlog, she might not feel enthused about talking terribly much, but she may hopefully join in with a few points here and there. The main one I wanted to think about was we're growing up. We grew up with horror icons, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, zombies. Those are just not scary anymore to adults because of the fact that we've seen so much of them for the most part.
And also the ripoffs like Twilight and such.
And then there's Twilight and Warm Bodies, which she does still want to watch Warm Bodies at some point. I'm kind of curious myself, but at the same time, the movies that take otherwise horror icon beings
and make them warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. The movies that make light of horror icons by wanting to do teenage drama nonsense with them. But more of what I see going wrong with horror is the horror that's still trying to present itself as horror, but going about it the wrong way. Like when you see something advertised as a visceral horror experience, what you really end up getting is just gore. More gore.
Blood. Guts.
Oh, look, around that corner. Another pile of guts, maybe some worms in it. Gore isn't scary, it's disgusting, which disgust and fear get the same reaction. You cringe away from it. You want to leave. But disgust isn't fear. Disgust is I don't want to touch that because it's gross, not I don't want to touch that because I'm scared of it. Now, if the gory pile of blood and organs had teeth and was actually moving, that might actually be a little bit frightening.
It's still gross.
But it would still be more gross than frightening. Then there's the ones that advertise themselves as a sort of paranormal thriller experience or paranormal suspense experience. Them ones are mostly like found footage, like Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, where the majority of what you see is people being scared. And
that's boring.
That is, for us at least, that's boring. I'm sure there's got to be some people out there who enjoyed it, otherwise it wouldn't have been a big enough box office hit that they made a Blair Witch 2 and a Paranormal Activity 2, and they might have done a 3, I don't know.
I think they're before Paranormal Activity 2.
And the point is, fear of seeing people afraid, seeing fear in others, can cause a mass hysteria type feeling. If you get enough people all seeing the same fear. But the thing is, that doesn't actually scare individuals. It doesn't scare me or her. We don't want to see people being scared. We want to see what's scaring them. Because we want what's scaring them to scare us.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
why would anyone want to be scared?
That's asking basically the validity of the entire horror genre.
I know.
I watch scary games because I like the feeling of being scared sometimes. And I watch scary movies for the same feeling. And when I do feel like being scared, I want to see what's scary. I don't want to see other people being scared out of their minds, acting like idiots, because I want to be the idiot. No. I know, you're holding my foot down because I have a habit of jiggling my leg when I sit still.
Yep.
Completely derails the topic. And the last bit on bad horror is just a gratuitous use of the jump scare. Where there's something hiding around a corner or that wasn't there before when someone turns around, and then when you turn back around to face where they're already facing, it's there.
Or like the dead body thing that suddenly was not dead.
Yeah, that. Though the dead body thing actually kind of is a neat horror experience.
But it's cliche.
It's a cliche, but it's a neat cliche. But anyways, the issue is that they're all using things that actually work in horror, but they're relying on them for the sole purpose of the horror. What you want to do in a real good horror environment is exactly what I praised Amnesia: The Dark Descent for doing.
Helplessness.
You want to make the horror environment before you use the gore or the jump scares or the panicked individuals that you come across fleeing the scene. You want to make the person feel like they're not safe, whether you do so by a feeling of helplessness like Amnesia does, or you find some other way to do it. You want your audience to feel, even though they realize what they're playing or watching is not real, you want them to feel like they are not safe in that audience. They're not safe in their own home. And short of actually having a stalker go to their house to terrify them, you have to use the means through which the media they're presented to do so. And the cheap jump scare is just startling people. That is the same, again, just like discussed, that is the same response as fear, but that is not fear. You can achieve the same thing with a schoolgirl or a Girl Scout. You could have a Girl Scout hiding around the corner. Someone's still going to jump when they get around the corner, not expecting a Girl Scout there, and then Girl Scout. Want to buy some cookies?
Don't do that again.
The point goes down to three things. Two of which can be scary, one of which is always scary. We have knowns, like, the Girl Scout, or your mailman, or the tarantula crawling up your leg. There's probably no tarantula crawling up your leg, but that's just the point I'm making. The knowns can be scary, like the tarantula. You have unknowns, and that can be anything. It could still be a Girl Scout, or a tarantula, or a zombie. Then the part that's always scary is known unknowns, where you know something's there. You have seen enough of it to know that it's not something you recognize, but you just don't know what it is. You don't know if it wants to hurt you. You don't know if it wants to sell you cookies. You don't know if it's going to bite your face off. A known unknown is when you see a vague, shadowy figure that is obviously too big to be the stupid Girl Scout, but at the same time is showing up at a time when you know your mailman would not be around. And it might be about the size of your mailman, but shaped like the tarantula that I mentioned earlier. Then you have something that is always going to be scary. No? She doesn't do well with scary. I hope you guys are not in the comment section as you're watching this saying, Kisa should play a horror game. Because, she might. But if she does, it's not going to be because you guys demand it. It's going to be because she feels guilty over me playing all the scary stuff.
And you don't react to things.
And, yeah, I don't react very well. I might have already mentioned this when playing Amnesia. I kind of already forgot. But when I get scared, until the jump scare moment, which every good horror at some point has to kind of pull the jump scare moment at some point, but they don't have to rely on it like a crutch. But until the jump scare moment where something actually does pop up ready to kill me in a game, I just get really tense, really hyper-focused. And the last time Kisa saw that while I was playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent, this was back when I was going to college, she said not to play that game in front of her, not because of what was on the game screen, but because of how my super serious, hyper-focused face looked. She said my face was scarier than the game, and you see her nodding right now. I'll leave it to you guys to decide, because I will continue playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent. You guys will get to see that face eventually, because that face is basically what happens when I am primed. I am focused on finding what is going to kill me and avoiding it. But I'm still not ready for what that thing is, and when that thing pops up, then I'll jump like any normal person will. But for now, I think we discussed everything we really wanted to get out of the way. And I think she's eager to get off camera, partially because we're delaying dinner until after we finished recording this, and she probably wants food in her belly.
Yeah.
So that's it for now. First vlog with Kisa in it. You might see some of her doing it by herself, but not until she gets a bit more talkative.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.